President Bro, followed by Acting Provost Amusu, and then I will come back to introduce our next speakers and share all of the exciting programs that CETL has to offer. Dr. Bro reminded us at the New Faculty Institute that she is entering her 5th year, completing her 5th year, entering her 6th year. So we need to give her a 6th year welcome.
So good morning, BSU. It is so wonderful to see you all back again. And just to clarify, I celebrated 6 years on July 1st of this year. Do I get another round of applause? It is great to see you all here once again, getting ready to get underway for another academic year. I agree with you, Dr. Guerin. It's very difficult to follow the GGs. No following that. But know, Dr. Guerin, that you are a cheerleader. I know that of you. Throughout the year, you're cheering on our faculty and this entire university. Please give Dr. Guerin a round of applause. Faculty, administrators, I don't need to tell you, we are getting underway. Students have moved in. They will continue moving in throughout this week, and they are pumped up. They are excited. They are ready to rock and roll. So faculty, are you ready? Wait a minute now. Faculty, BSU faculty, are you ready? All right, that's what I want to hear. Because once again, they are ready to get underway. Joining me here today are a few individuals who you need to know who have been on a Racing to Excellence journey with me. You know that phrase, Racing to Excellence. We know that, right? Okay, see, head shaking, yes. And along the way, I am so blessed and fortunate to have on this Racing to Excellence journey senior administrators of the university. I'm going to ask that they stand as a group so that you may acknowledge them at this time, and that's the senior leadership team, the President's Cabinet. Would you please rise so we may acknowledge you at this time? Also joining me here today are other members of the Office of the President. And I'd like to take a moment now just to acknowledge a couple of individuals. I'm not sure if one is in the room, but of the two I want to recognize and bring to your attention as we get underway, starting with Gail Bassett. I believe many of you have been working with her already, but it's imperative that you get to know her for the work that she's doing. You may recall that we just set up in the last year a new department within the Office of the President, and that is the Department of Economic Development and Strategic Engagement. And Ms. Bassett has been racing, let me tell you, along with many of you around this room, to open up new opportunities and partnerships and help bring in additional funding to this university. Yes, funding. Anybody interested in additional funding for the research? I see a few around here. So now I have your attention, don't I? So it's important that you get to know her. And I ask at this time, Ms. Bassett, if you would please stand so we may recognize you. Just to put a little finer point on the work that she's doing, she's responsible for developing and implementing a strategy for engaging, cultivating, and expanding strategic and meaningful partnerships with industry, government, academia, and community partners to advance the mission and strategic priorities of the university and position the university as an important economic driver for the state and for the region. And so again, she's here to partner with you, faculty and administrators, in ensuring that you're able to develop those meaningful relationships and partnerships and to build a pathway to long-term external funding while connecting and anchoring new relationships with project-based opportunities for faculty, staff, and students. So again, please make sure you work your way around to meet with her. Her office is located in the Office of the President. And she has worked with many of you around the room, as well as with Dr. Anika Bishop-Hoya on support for your research endeavors and securing external funding. And another individual I'd like to acknowledge at this time, and I'm not sure she's here, but I do want to bring her name to your attention, especially for the new faculty, Mililani Sinclair. She's the director of Title III, and she was a person at the forefront to help us manage the federal CARES funds. Is Ms. Sinclair in the room? She is not. Give her a round of applause anyway. She helped us a great deal. And so for internal funding to start up pilots on the campus, please talk with Ms. Sinclair, and she would be of great resource to you. Before continuing on, again, I want to acknowledge Dr. Eva Guerin and the CETL Fellows and the administrators and staff in CETL for what they have done for this week, but what they do throughout the year to support you in your endeavors. Please make sure that you take advantage, not just today and tomorrow, but take advantage of all of the resources that are available through CETL. With the CETL Fellows in the room, I'd like for you to be acknowledged at this time. Would you please stand so we may see you and say thank you? On Monday, I had the great honor and privilege of greeting our new faculty, and let me tell you, they are amazing. And I'm so pleased that they have chosen Bowie State University for this next leg of their career. And I'd like for them to stand at this time so you can see them. I know you'll get to know them throughout these 2 days and throughout the year, but new faculty members in the room, please rise and let us greet you as true Bulldogs. Thank you again and welcome. And then we have some leadership in the room. I want to make sure that we acknowledge that throughout the year we adhere to a shared governance model. When you hear all these great decisions and how we're racing to excellence, know that it's not just the president sitting in her office saying, I decided here's what we're going to do. I'm a collaborative leader, and I look to each and every one of you around this room to join us in this Racing to Excellence journey and to give your input. And leading the way for the faculty, the head of Faculty Senate, is Dr. Taisha Burks. Please give her a round of applause. And I don't believe Mr. George Jones is here, but he is the head of staff council, and together we are racing to excellence. And I want to thank our deans, our chairs, and everyone who has made Bowie State University a name across this region and around the country and around the world. And we are racing to excellence, and we've received great acknowledgments and recognitions throughout this year. In the time that I have with you, I'm going to just touch upon some of the highlights of achievements for this year. Let me just set the stage. If you don't see your face or your name up here, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you. But Dr. Guerin told me my time is limited, and we don't have a week for me to go through all of the achievements. I just want to scratch the surface and highlight just some of the excitement that has been created through your efforts and all of your hard work. We at BSU have demonstrated repeatedly what Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, the former president of Morehouse, refers to as the fluttering veil over HBCUs, as he challenges HBCUs in his new book, and I want you to write this down because it's an outstanding book for you to get. It's called Hope and Healing, Black Colleges and the Future of American Democracy. And he challenges to think about and how to reveal new ways to close the gap between what our HBCUs teach best and what the world needs most. What the HBCUs teach best and what the world needs most. We are at a pivotal time in American history. And as we think about this new year and what lies ahead, I want you to think about the purpose of higher education. We're asked over and over again, what is the value of going to college? Have you heard that? Anybody in this room? You don't want to acknowledge it. I know, I hear it quite a bit. If you haven't heard it, just open up the paper today. Just go back to the paper last week. Our public is asking, and many employers and others and parents are saying, what is the value? Should I be sending my child to higher education? I contend that we still have a huge value, more than ever, as we think about what Dr. Wilson is saying in that statement. For over 150 years, we have provided value to our communities and to this nation. And this is our time to once again remind our nation, remind our children, remind their families of why we exist. If you haven't followed the news recently, then I encourage you to read through the SCOTUS decision in your free time about the affirmative action decision. That should serve to remind you that we have a purpose here today, because we exist since 1865 to provide a pathway for every citizen to have access to education, every citizen. And so today, when we think about where we are as a nation, I encourage you as teachers, as researchers, to think about the purpose, our purpose for why we exist. Bowie State University has, as you know, a mission. And let me begin here by reminding everyone about our Racing to Excellence journey that we're on. I talked about it a little bit. I'm not going to quiz you today. Those who are just joining us, new faculty, I did say I would quiz you. And so I know you're ready, but I'm not going to quiz anyone today. I'm just going to remind us all, these are our strategic priorities under the strategic plan. But Bowie State University, as a public university, is committed to also contributing to the public good. And I want to remind you, as I show you the mission statement, about and remind everyone why we are here. Now, I won't quiz you on this statement here. It's rather long, I know. But what I want you to do, look at that statement, look at the words, and embrace the meaning of what's up here. As we embark on this new journey, this new academic year, and we think about our sense of purpose, let us all remind one another that we have created a way for upward social mobility for our students and their families, for our students to succeed not just here on the campus, but beyond completion of their degrees. And BSU, as a public university, HBCU is committed to contributing to the public good while upholding the legacy of generations before and opening the door to prosperity and upward social mobility for our graduates and their families. And as we embark upon a new strategic plan, I hope you've heard about that, we will once again take stock in our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And there are threats, as I've mentioned earlier, to our existence as we are questioned and challenged to demonstrate value over and over again. But we can do that because we have many examples of excellence. And the list of strengths for BSU is a long one. We have weathered the storm of a pandemic, the rise of greater social injustice, and the confluence of these two major seismic and cataclysmic shifts in our society. And many of you in this room are doing amazing work to address society's most critical issues. That's where we need to be today and tomorrow. BSU continues to lead as an economic driver and an anchor institution in our community, providing, and here's something I want you to note. So when someone says, what is the value of higher education? We provide an economic value to this region, to this community. Research has shown that BSU alone brings in $234 million annually of economic benefit. $234 million to this region through the jobs on the campus and the community benefit that we provide through research and teaching and the contributions of our students and our graduates in the workforce. And in this time I have with you today, as is the tradition, what I'd like to do is to do a reset and get us all moving in the same direction. Because if anyone's ever been on a race before, it's important, especially when you have a relay race. Education. Where's Miss Janetta Hardy in the room? Give her a round of applause. Stand up. She, along with Dr. Wendy Edmonds, I don't know if Dr. Edmonds is in the room. They are the dynamic duo around here leading the way, and there's so many others I know they're working with across this campus to ensure that you're helping to live out that part of the vision that I shared with you back in 2017, and that is to ensure every student graduates with an entrepreneurial mindset, with innovative thinking, creative solutions to navigate this rapidly changing world. Let me share with you some of the excitement, and this is just scratching the surface. And I know you're all very busy, so you might have missed a few of these headlines. These headlines are local, they are national, they are just a sampling of the excitement in the news, BSU in the news throughout the year. And it is exciting because what it means is we are no longer an understated secret to this community and the nation. The nation knows about Bowie State University. I'm not saying every person, but we are much better known today than just 5, 6 years ago. And that's through the work that you are doing, your research, your teaching, your service, and so much more work that's happening here. I hope you will see some recognizable individuals in there, and there are many more. If you go to our website, I know Ms. Robinson, who heads up University Relations and Marketing, will be thrilled if you go back through some of those other BSU newsletters and see the rest of the excitement and the headlines that we have seen. Last year, as a reminder, we not only had the vice president, that's a great thing in and of itself, because we had the vice president of the United States, an HBCU graduate, by the way. She was here on this campus, but in 1 year, we had the president and the vice president here at Bowie State University. How about that? Does that deserve a round of applause? And for those of you who've wrapped up the year and you were saying, wow, that was a lot. We were racing, we did all kinds of things, and it was a great year. I want to remind you, I'm not going to go through every one of these, and this presentation will be available for you later. But just look at this listing. If you're wondering what was happening, and as you think about this year ahead, reflect on these achievements, new academic programs you helped to create. We are continuing to create new academic programs with the coalition funds that we have received. We receive a minimum of $10.6 million a year for the next 10 years, but those funds will run out, and we need to build academic programs that are innovative and self-sustaining to continue with that third priority of long-term viability of the institution. But look at these achievements. We have 40 students now enrolled in new programs that are listed at the bottom, but look at the top of the list of the 16 new academic programs just since 2021. Give yourselves a round of applause. As a result of the research going on here in fiscal year 2022, faculty grant activity, look at these numbers, 56 grants in total, totaling over $17 million back in 2022. But this past fiscal year, look at that number and where we are. We are continuing to rise and race and reach excellence. The numbers as we closed out for this last academic year, this last fiscal year, total over $19 million in new and continuing awards. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I do want to highlight once again Dr. Jacqueline Smith, who received the NSF Career Grant Award. Congratulations again. You make us so very proud. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Dr. Smith. And here's yet another listing of just some of the academic excellence that I'm speaking of. I'm not going to go through, for time's sake, all of this. What this has helped us to do is to create new partnerships. I mentioned that we're better known across the nation. This is just a sampling of some of the partners who are investing, not just giving us a handout, but they're investing in Bowie State University for scholarships, internships, and partnering with many of you with research and other supports to continue this Racing to Excellence journey. So we're not on this journey by ourselves. And as we think about the future, this is what it's going to take for us to continue to achieve excellence, because the issues that we're facing in our society will take all of us, government, industry, business, and education working together. So we thank our partners. Again, this is just a sampling, and we thank them so very much for what they are doing to ensure that we are reaching our goals. Student success is the second priority under our strategic plan, and indeed we have seen great success. Last year, we saw a record high with our first-time full-time students. We increased first-time full-time enrollment by 32% in 1 year. Did you hear me? Are we awake? And as I came into the room, Ms. Fink, she reminded me, along with Dr. Clemens and Dr. Amusu, that we are on track for yet another outstanding year. We will not reach our freeze date for another few weeks, so I'll be coming back to you with the exact numbers, but we are on the same trend line. That is due to the amazing teaching, the amazing research that you are conducting. So I'm going to ask you to give yourselves another round of applause. There's a lot to celebrate here. As a result of all this work, we now have students coming to us from 40 states, 46 foreign countries. I see applause in the back. Yes, let's applaud that, because we have many more students coming from different countries. Can you hear me in the back? I believe this is going out a little. Okay, here we go. So we have more students coming to us from across the nation and around the world. At the bottom of this slide, let me highlight and just put a finer point here. Over the last 3 years, on average, we're getting 13,000 applications. Last year, we designated, and this is for new students, last year we designated 920 seats, 13,000 applications. Now, not everyone will fill out and complete their application, so about 6,500 will fill out and totally submit their completed applications, but still, that's a high number that lets you know we are in demand. So we will continue to grow to open our doors even wider. This year, we designated 1,000 seats, and we're anticipating that we're going to hit that goal, if not go over, to fill those seats. So faculty, are you ready for a new year? All right. The third priority of our strategic plan, long-term viability of the university. The BSU Bowl, the Campaign for Excellence, is the name of our comprehensive campaign, fundraising campaign. And I hope you didn't miss this announcement, that just about a month and a half ago, we announced that we not only hit our target, but we made our target 2.5 years early, reaching $50 million. We have individuals who are now giving their funds to create new individual endowments that contribute to the overall endowment. And as a result of the fundraising, our endowment, when I arrived here back in 2017, it was just around $7 million. $7 million. Today, we are now at $40 million. Our grants and contracts continue to rise, and once again, here's that chart that shows that we have reached over $19 million for this last fiscal year. The long-term viability of the university also includes that we have to continue to expand our physical footprint. Those of you who are in arts and sciences and others who reside in the current MLK building, I know you have to be excited, because not long from now, we will be cutting a ribbon next fall. We will be cutting the ribbon on the new Martin Luther King Communications, Arts, and Humanities building. Are you excited? There's a lot more to come. I encourage you all, there's a link here for the master plan, so if you're wondering how we're moving forward to support teaching and research here at the university with our physical footprint, I encourage you to look through the master plan. The master plan, again, includes that new building. It's a $159 million building, But what's really exciting that is more recent since you left the campus is the continued progress we're making, and we're already underway in the concept and design phase to start planning for a new Thurgood Marshall Library. Are you excited about that? There's much more to come. The projects are listed here. The Gateway parcel, we need more housing. We have students who are living off campus, unfortunately, for this year because we have exceeded the capacity here on the campus. We have transports taking the students back and forth to those locations where they're residing, but we are already in the planning phase to put up a new residence hall that we intend to have connected to a restaurant and will be built right across from the entrepreneurship living learning community. We continue to work on the Bowie racetrack property and the mixed-use transit village at the Mark train station. I'm sorry to say that's on hold for now. The county has put on hold or discontinued, unfortunately, the proposal that went out, the RFP, and so we will be looping back to talk with the county about that project. But in the meantime, we know that you need the supports and the space to continue your work. So we will be looking at space in the community to continue to help us on our Racing to Excellence journey. I mentioned Ms. Gail Bassett. There's an economic development plan. So if you're wondering, well, how's all this fitting together to develop our economic strategy and continue giving back the economic benefit, please take a look at that plan that's online. So very quickly, I'm going to wrap up very soon. There are many slides in here. I encourage you to read on your own. But I know some of you might be saying, well, why do we need to grow? I hope my earlier comments helped to lay the foundation for the answer to that. There is a high need in our society. And while we are being challenged by some populations in our society as to our value, the numbers bear out the reality that students want to come to Bowie State University. They are seeking the HBCU love and nurturing environment that only an HBCU and BSU can provide. You know, we wrap our arms around our students and we make sure that they succeed. We are in high demand. The word is out. And so we do want to fulfill our mission, as I put up earlier, fulfill our mission to open the doors and provide a way forward for our children to have their education, as we have done for over 150 years. The proposed growth that we are projecting, and I would dare say this is probably conservative, is 22.7% growth over 10 years. I say conservative because that's only constrained by the space. We are in need of additional space that supports this growth. If we are able to move forward on that, we may see these numbers grow. And how are we going to grow? Through our traditional regional market, online, because now we have the opportunity to do so, through our regional centers and key markets outside of Maryland. So we do anticipate we're going to be diversifying even more. And again, why? I come back to those values of excellence, inclusivity, integrity, accountability, and innovation. That's what we're about here at BSU and how we deliver education and the reason why students are seeking us at this time. Our reasoning is a mission-based reasoning. The increased demand, changing demographics, and empowering a diverse population of students to reach their potential by providing innovative and academic programs. There's a listing of initiatives that the Cabinet has laid out as we wrapped up our Cabinet retreat. I encourage you to read through the slides that I will leave with you to let you know what we will be focused on. And the list is long because we need to continue racing and making sure that we provide that value-added benefit. And just to, as I close, the environment for higher education, I've been in higher education for more than 35 years. It is unlike any that I have seen in my years in higher education. There is a challenge of those asking, what is the value of higher education? We're being asked more and more about the cost and how we can continue to make higher education affordable. We do see changing demographics with a declining high school graduating population. And there's increased interest and opportunities, however, with new populations. And I don't know if Dr. Adams is in the room, but I'd like to applaud the work and the announcement that just came out about the work he's doing with Jessup Correctional Facility. Is Dr. Adams in the room? Please stand. Congratulations on the work that you're doing. It is outstanding, and I know you have set your sights on opening that opportunity for women in correctional facilities. Congratulations, that's wonderful. So at this time, let me then conclude with highlighting that our plan fits in to a larger plan. It is a strategic plan. We are not just racing, but we're racing with a purpose. We are buoy bold. And as you think about this year, I want you to close out this Racing to Excellence journey, this final year of our plan, mindful that we sit within a university system of Maryland of 12 institutions, and our plan fits into the University of Maryland plan. I have a link here for you to take a look at, but I wanted to highlight just this one excerpt from the University System of Maryland plan, just to, again, put this into context of what's happening today and why we need to continue to grow. When you look at the shortages of graduates to fulfill the workforce needs, it tells us we need to do more in the STEM areas and area of strength. But there are other slides like this in the USM plan that tells us that we have a purpose, we have the need, and so we will continue. The future belongs to the bold. BSU, I'm asking you to be bold as bulldogs and continue racing to excellence this final year of our strategic plan. And as I conclude, I'm going to ask that Mr. Mike Atkins come forward to just very briefly share with you the question and some answers. As each year I'm asked about, well, how are we going to do this financially? And I want to level set here so that you know where the funds are, and I want you to know the process we go through so that you're able to have the resources you need to be buoy bold, to continue this Racing to Excellence journey. So once again, thank you and welcome to our faculty. Welcome back to another academic year. I'm so thrilled you were here. Are we ready, Bulldogs? BSU. Mr. Atkins.
Thank you, Dr. Bro. Good morning. Good morning. All right, all right. I would like to personally welcome our new faculty and welcome back our returning faculty. My name is Michael Atkins. I'm the interim vice president for administration and finance. As Dr. Bro laid out, I am limited with time as well, so I will give you as much as I can in the 5 or 10 minutes that's allowed. So today I will give you a snapshot of our funds, how we ended the past fiscal year that ended 6/30/2023, and BSU's current fiscal year budget 2024 that just started on July 1st, 2023. Let me begin with FY23. Now again, I will not touch on every item. I will touch on the key points. BSU collected, can you all hear me? Oh, okay. BSU collected revenues totaling $212 million, which includes tuition and fees at $48.7 million, state appropriates at $62 million, federal grants and contracts at $55.9 million, and auxiliary services at $29 million. Now, Dr. Bro mentioned earlier the HBCU coalition funds. So we received $10.6 million in 2023, which is the first year we received those funds. We are slated to receive these funds for 10 years, so last year was our first year. Now, these funds do come with restrictions. They must be used for scholarships, financial aid, support services, faculty recruitment, expanding and improving existing academic programs, including online programs, development of new academic programs, marketing, and academic support. So because I saw a lot of eyebrows raised when I said $10.6 million from last year. And then you'll see that we received $18.2 million in the subsequent fiscal year, which you'll see. But those do come restrictions. Now, let me speak to the expenditures, totaling $210 million. Now, let me just give you a breakdown of those funds. $67.1 million for salaries and wages, which included 50 new positions last year. 20 of those positions related to faculty, and then the rest were slated for staff. We had $23.8 million associated with contingent personnel contracts and adjunct funding. We had $33.5 million for student scholarships. $33.5 million for student scholarships, so yes, thank you. We also have $85.7 million in operating funds, such as the marketing I spoke to and advertising of our great programs, our new programs from the coalition funds. We have equipment, travel, supplies, fueling utilities, and et cetera. So just to summarize how we invested these funds together with the HBCU, as a result, we ended in the black and returned $2.8 million to the university's fund balance, which, thank you. So that means we did meet USM's fund balance. Every year we have a 1% fund balance goal. We met that and exceeded. But before I get to FY 2024, I have to say that BSU remains fiscally strong as we continue racing to excellence by growing our academic programs, faculty, staff, our footprint that Dr. Bro mentioned around campus. So if you haven't noticed that, please walk the campus and you'll see how we are growing. Now let me get into FY 2024, which is our budget, our current budget that began July 1, 2023. Revenue and expenditure budget of $204 million, which includes both unrestricted and our restricted. Our restricted includes our grant funds. So inside the revenues, we have the tuition and fees at $52 million, which assumes a head count of 6,400 for the 2023-2024 academic year. State appropriations at $67.4 million. HBCU coalition funds of $18.2 million. That is $7.6 million over last year, a 72% increase. So auxiliary services at $29 million and grant funds of $36.7 million for a total revenue budget of $204 million. Now let me speak to the expenditures. $87 million or 43% is associated with our salaries and wages. $20 million or 10% is associated with our contingent funding, which is for our adjuncts, contingent contracts, and so forth. $27 million or 13% associated, again, with our scholarships. We continue to grow with our scholarships, especially with our new programs. $70 million or 34% associated with operating funds. So I'm sure you now would like to ask, how is the university investing these funds back into the university to support the university as a whole, our faculty, staff, and students? So for 2 years in a row, we increased our regular pen positions by another 50. So this year, we increased our regular pens by 50, which include another 18 to 20 in faculty, and then the rest in staff support. We have funding for our COLA and merit for faculty and staff. Again, financial aid for our students, course design support, adjunct funding support, student program and processing support, professional development funds. So that is something new that we did this year. So this year, so that way you all know, each of your VPs and your deans were given additional funds in their budget for professional development. So please get in line and get those funds spent. So, all right, that is something new for this year. We also have technology and infrastructure improvements and student mental health support, just to name a few. So This actually concludes my quick 5-minute presentation of the 2023-2024 budget. We will now have Acting Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Gillian Amusu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Bonjour, Dr. Bro, and bonjour, faculty. Welcome back. So welcome to the new academic year here at Bowie State University. I hope you had a great summer, a restful summer. We're setting things up here. Well, I will get started because we are running a little bit late. So I hope you're ready for the new academic year, that the summer was productive. Okay. In the program, please take a moment to read the letter that I wrote. I spent some time to write it, and I want to make sure that you read it. There are some ideas there that I want to make sure that you capture, that will guide us through this academic year. As we start the academic year, I want to start with expressing thankfulness and being grateful. We know we have challenges, but I think it's important to stop and acknowledge all what we have accomplished and those who have accomplished them. But before I do, Dr. Bro, I'm grateful that once again you trusted me to lead the Division of Academic Affairs. Thank you. Cabinet members, this summer we've been busy racing to 6,400. And Dr. Clemens, where are you? Okay, he's racing to 6,400. Cabinet members, it's been a great summer. We are racing to 6,400, and I'm cautiously optimistic that we will get there. And I will talk about the numbers in a minute. I believe in shared governance. The cabinet alone can't lead the campus without shared governance. So I would like to acknowledge the Faculty Senate Executive Committee led by Dr. Burks, Dr. Jarbo, and Dr. Scott. Could you stand to be recognized, please? Thank you for all the work you're doing to lead the faculty to work with us. As acting provost, I can't lead the division alone. I've stated that to the direct reports, to the chairs, to the deans. I need you to lead the division. I need to build on your strength to lead the division. So deans, associate deans, department chairs, direct report, could you please rise to be acknowledged? And remain standing. And remain standing. Please, remain standing, please. Remain standing. Remain standing, thank you. These past 2 weeks, we had 3 retreats for the chairs, for the direct report, and the deans. The theme of the retreat was convergence. How do we converge together to solve challenges of this institution? I've heard you loud and clear. We will work through processes to make sure that we're a better institution than we are today, and I count on you, count on your strength to get there. Thank you. This past year, we reached new heights. 16 new academic programs. 16 new academic programs. Dr. Bro just alluded to it. Computer science, computer technology, history and government, nursing, counseling, the first PhD program at Bowie State University. So department chairs and faculty from those around the campus, from those colleges, could you please rise to be acknowledged as well? Department chairs and faculty who have new programs this year. Department chairs and faculty. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the work you've done. But having a new program is just the beginning. We have coalition funds. But for every new faculty that we hire to support those programs, we must have a minimum of 14 students enrolled in these programs. So we have some work to do. The starting point is, I have those programs approved, but that's just the beginning. So I count on you to continue to work with us to get there. For the past 3 years, not 2, 3 years, every Monday morning, there is a team that I refer to as a core team that meet with us to look at data, which drives the agenda for the rest of the week, for the past 3 years. You receive information from, the chairs receive information from the provost office, and that guides how we do business, when we need to pivot, when we need to make new decisions. So data is driving how we lead. So I would like to acknowledge Ms. Fink, Dr. Blackman, and Dr. Croston. Could you rise to be acknowledged, please? And particularly, Ms. Fink, I want to acknowledge all the work, how many times I bug her to get data. I do appreciate you, appreciate all the work. The office staff is not here, but God knows how much work they do in the provost office. So I want to acknowledge them. Their effort is appreciated. Ms. Cade, you're here. Could you please rise? Ms. Cade. Thank you for all the great work. And I will end my gratitude with Dr. Garin and the Cedar Fellow. This Faculty Institute, the new faculty orientation cannot be without you. We appreciate your work. Could you rise to be acknowledged as well? All the CETOP fellows. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to now welcome and acknowledge the new faculty. 26 new faculty have joined Bowie State University. And you have the numbers on the screen here. New faculty to Bowie State, could you please rise to be acknowledged? New faculty. Thank you. Faculty, we are a team. We are a team as an institution. It's not the cabinet versus the faculty. It's not the department chair versus the faculty. It's not the dean against the faculty or the cabinet. We are a team. Dr. Brew mentioned earlier our core values. I would stress particularly on one, the A word, accountability. I would be first accountable, but we should be accountable to each other and to our students. As we do this work, let's have grace for ourselves and for each other. Sometimes it will be challenging, but we need to have grace to ensure that we continue to move forward. During the retreat we had with the direct reports, the chairs, and the deans, I insisted on one thing. We need to practice wellness. If we're not well, we can't take care of our students. If we're not well, we can't take care of each other. More to come about wellness. We need to practice wellness, and I'm starting to practice wellness myself. Dr. Bro, I'm not racing like the first time. I'm being more strategic. Practice wellness, because the road is long. A rising tide lifts all boats, because we need to rely on each other. If we succeed individually and collectively, this institution will succeed. So let me share a few updates. And Dr. Garin, I'm mindful of the time. I would like to acknowledge all the work that was done this summer to get us to the 6,400. This morning, thank you, Ms. Fink, the data shows that we have met the graduate enrollment target. Right? The target was 975. As of this morning, we're at 987. So this did not happen by itself. It happens because folks were working tirelessly during the summer. So department chair and graduate program coordinator, could you rise to be acknowledged with the graduate school? Department chairs, graduate coordinators. That's the outcome of your work. I'm pleased to announce that for the first time at Bowie State University, we will have a fully staffed international office. A fully staffed international office. We have 4 positions, 3 have already been filled. And I want to acknowledge the staff in the international office. Mr. Diabate, could you please rise? Mr. Diabate will be the director of the international office. Ms. Carew is the coordinator for international student services. And as of yesterday, we have a study abroad coordinator. Ms. Frischman is the study abroad coordinator for Bowie State University. Could you please rise the international office staff to be acknowledged? Thank you. We have 1 more position to fill. We're bringing international students on this campus. We must take care of them. This is overdue, but we're getting there. We need to send our students abroad. So Ms. Frischman, welcome on board. As you know, currently, I'm alone in the provost office. We are hiring staff, so I want to give you a quick update on the search that are ongoing for the leadership. We have the associate provost faculty program and accreditation that is ongoing. We're on the final stage, probably make an offer this week or next week. We have the associate vice president for student success. That search is reopened. So we hope to have a great pool and select a candidate. For the dean of the graduate school, it was a failed search. We will provide more information about that position. And finally, I'm initiating a Provost Fellows program, and tomorrow I will be providing more information for those who are interested in providing support to the Provost Office as fellows. Okay. I'm not hiding, I'm accessible. Right? My calendar is busy, but I will have an open door policy this year. So faculty, I'm accessible, please reach out, right? To make it a little bit formal, we will have every Friday, last Friday of the month, what I call meet and greet with the provost. so that I can hear from you. We will start on September 29th with the new faculty, and then those Fridays will be open to all faculty. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your concerns. That's the way we're going to build a strong academic affairs division. I will discuss this a little bit more tomorrow. I want to leave you with these last two slides that outline the goal for the year. Creating an R2 institution, you're aware of that, but we need to peel the onion and have a sense of what that means for us. We'll discuss that more tomorrow. Building a model of student success, including conversions advising. Some of you know that this summer we've been working on improving our academic advisement report, so more will be discussed tomorrow. Strengthening and redesigning academic program. And one thing that is dear to my heart is establishing a leadership academy. More to be discussed tomorrow, okay? And finally, I want to leave you with this quote from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I want us to be mindful of this quote among each other, but also with our students. Thank you.
Is Dr. Love here? Here she comes. So, class, please get out your phones. Dr. Guerin politely threatened me that we have to be very brief, so we'll cover 15 minutes and hopefully about 2. Long presentation. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, faculty. So really briefly, Dr. Love and I are the co-chairs for the Strategic Planning Committee. You heard Dr. Bro allude to our Racing to Excellence plan. So in 9 months or less, we're responsible for leading the team that will hopefully conduct a bunch of nice and fun listening sessions for all of our stakeholder meetings. And out of the end of that will birth, hopefully, a new strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. So I'll give Dr. Love a chance to introduce herself as well.
Good morning, everybody. Monifa Love, Associate Dean in the College of Arts and Sciences. And one of our chief aims with Strategic Plan is to help you be invested in that plan. So quickly, we can introduce the other committee members. Ms. Cade, Jacqueline Cade, Gail Fink, April Curry, Darla Scott, Giovannia Jones, who am I forgetting? If you could stand, please, and Triopia Washington, and be recognized. They are steadfast in their efforts. And we thank them already because we are on a very tight schedule to accomplish a great deal in a short amount of time. So thank you, committee members, for all that you've already done and will do in the coming weeks.
So if you haven't already, this is a QR code that will take you to one of our first of many strategic planning survey tools that we'll be using. Please, everyone, you can get it on your phone now. You can answer it later. But please check your email. You should have it in your email as well. Thank you so much, and have a great Faculty Institute.
Thank you.
Was that good?
So I've learned that my new name today is not Dr. Guerin, but I'll be brief. So I wanted to take a few minutes to let you know that we in CETL also have heard you, and we have a plethora of professional development opportunities that we have planned throughout the academic year, and we will add as needed when we hear from you more today and tomorrow. Starting off with, we are hosting Monday Morning Mentor. How many of you read my email that every Monday morning you will have a 20-minute video? Can you raise your hands? Oh, I'm so happy. Now, how many of you have watched the first video that came out on Monday? Could you stand? No, you don't want to stand? Okay. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Listen, the topic, you still have till Sunday at midnight to watch this, 20 minutes. And it's the title is, How Can I Use AI to Draft Course Materials? A very important topic for all of us. Today we're going to be hosting an expansive dessert menu to lure you back to a panel discussion led by our own faculty on this very topic. But every Monday morning, there's going to be a different video, 20 minutes, very short. I'm going to start nudging you the Wednesday before to remind you, give you the topic, and how to get onto that video. And in your program, you will see a list of the topics. It's towards the back of your program. It is on page 28. In January, we're going to say, what do you think? Is this worth doing again? Now, I'll tell you that the CETL Fellows and I have also inquired what we can do to be presenters in Monday Morning Mentor for the Magna Association. And so when we have figured that all out, I'm going to suggest that this very talented faculty apply to be presenters at Monday Morning Mentor. That is a national opportunity for us to showcase our knowledge, what we're doing, and what we can offer other faculty members. On page 29, we have sort of scoped out everything that we're going to be offering this year. But this is not the end. We will probably come up with some other things as the year progresses. We're going to be offering what we're calling CETL Certificate Series. Rather than being a one-shot introduction to a topic or exploration of a topic, it will be 3 to 4 sessions, 1 hour in length, on Zoom, recorded, and you can watch it on your own or be synchronous. There will be one assignment, and that assignment will have you produce a product. So for example, research in social sciences might help you kind of put together a roadmap of your own research. So whatever product it is, it's going to be meaningful and hands-on, something that you can use. Then we will distribute CETL certificates of completion. So you can see that we have research in social sciences, new faculty conversations, and we are also going to welcome not only this year's cohort, but the last 3 years. Research and grants in STEAM, and an Adobe 3-part series. If we haven't hit the mark on this, you'll have the opportunity to tell us what else you would like to see. Additional events, a Spring Adjunct Faculty Institute. You already have the dates for the Spring Faculty Institute, an Adobe Summit, and Thank a Professor Week. So today's Faculty Institute is comprised of a series of breakout sessions offered throughout the day. There's 3 breakout sessions, and at each session, you will fortunately or unfortunately have 7 or 8 choices. And I know that sometimes there are more than one session that you want to go to. And again, we have an evaluation and a needs assessment all rolled into one that you will be taking at the end of the day so that you can tell us what you want, did we hit the mark, and what else you would like to see us do. We've organized these sessions around 3 themes: pedagogy, technology, and student success. And we've color-coded it. And I say that knowing that my husband was colorblind, so maybe not all of you are seeing the color coding, but we've labeled them as well. You'll also see extensive descriptions in your program with objectives of what we hope you will learn and information about the presenters. Lunch is going to be in 3 sites. We're trying very hard to make this more user-friendly, and we know that those long lunch lines keep us from getting to the next session. So we're going to have 2 stations in here and 1 across the hall in the Annapolis Columbia room. What else is new this Faculty Institute is that there wasn't a book for everyone, but different sessions have identified a book that will help engage you in extended learning on that topic. Today, for the first time, we're streaming this whole session because in the acting provost's retreat, we learned, I think I'm one of 2 faculty members that's a direct report, Dr. Monica Gross and myself, but we learned from the other direct reports is that the separateness of the different offices, we need to break down some of those walls. So today we're trying very hard, taking a little baby step in streaming this so that the rest of the campus can hear what was said today, especially the introductions by the president and the acting provost and setting the stage for our strategic plan. I'm trying to be brief too, so give me a second. We have some guests here from other universities and offices that I would like to recognize. I would like to introduce the guest speakers for today. You know, we don't have a keynote, but we do have guest speakers in breakout sessions. Dr. Steve Haberlin, would you stand, please? Oh, he went to check out his site. Gotcha, okay. He's from the University of Central Florida, and he will speak about meditation in the college classroom. And he has out a new book, and that's how I found him, called Meditation in the College Classroom. So, and he's offering 2 sessions. Linda Gray, who is no stranger to BSU, who along with Jared Moffitt will present on strength-based campus. We'd like to welcome Linda back. Chris Friere, Linda, there she is. Chris Friere will present on experiential learning along with Jared Moffitt. And Mr. Friere's organization, are you here? Is he here with you right now? He's, okay. They are hosting this incredible Just Desserts today. And they'll introduce a little bit more on experiential learning. And then we are going to hear this AI panel. And what I love is that it's faculty from across campus. We've really broken down those barriers between different faculties and different offices, so I'm looking forward to that. So we also, tomorrow is going to be Adobe Day, and we have a little bit of a different format. We're going to have 4 breakout sessions, and our Adobe fellow, Dr. Shanice Thompson, will give us an overview of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going with Adobe. And we will be welcoming Kevin Bryant. Is Kevin here yet? Okay. And John Ziegler from the Adobe office, and they bring tons of energy, as does Shanice Thompson. I can't say enough about the CETL Fellows, but what I'm going to do is introduce each of them tomorrow because I don't want to make us any later from our first session than I need to. But I want to embarrass my administrative assistant, LaShawn Banks. Are you in this room or are you already running around? LaShawn does not like attention. She's an incredible person, very talented with technology, and completed the Adobe training along with faculty this summer. And we are going to use her incredible talents to head up some of the sessions for our staff so that we are extending our reach to staff in helping promote the wonderful Adobe program and their support to our campus. Tomorrow, I will thank profusely the CETL Fellows, and I will introduce each by name, but I'm going to give you a quiz right now. If you're in the College of Business, who is your CETL Fellow? Dr. who? Dr. Osefa. Great. Okay, so I will just mention their names, but tomorrow I will say something about each of them. We have a new CETL Fellow in Arts and Sciences joining the wonderful Dr. Ray as his second year, Catherine Kavecki, who's bringing an enormous amount of creativity. We have a new CETL Fellow in Education, Masika Jordan Alston, who is enormously talented. And this year, for the first time, we have Shanice Thompson as our Adobe CETL Fellow. And I'm so excited to tell you, we now have a CETL Fellow who is going to concentrate on professional development for our adjunct faculty. All right, now I need to adjust times. So the first session is supposed to begin at 10:30. So I'm going to say the first session will begin at 10:40. So that will give you 10 minutes to get to that session, take a break, grab some coffee. Most of the sessions are in the science building, but there will be one session each breakout that's hosted here. I hope that you have a really enjoyable and learned day today, and thank you so much. We have a session that is going to start in here. If you're not in the session, please leave. Please, if you're not in this session, please go to your session. Mr. Tyler has a wonderful presentation. He's a great presenter. Yes, he is.
Yes, I am, boss.
Yes.
So the second. Okay, folks, faculty, if you're not here, if you're not staying for this session using technology as my teaching assistant, you need to go to your room, please. Can you hear me? Are you staying for this session? Okay. Are you staying for this session? Yes, I am. Okay. Folks, are you staying for this session? Yeah. Good. Are you staying on this table? Are you staying for this session? Okay. Folks, are you staying for this session?
Hey, how you doing? Good, yes.
3 minutes until the session starts. You have 3 minutes until the session starts. Two minutes until the session starts. 2 minutes until the session starts. One minute until the next session. 1 minute until the next session. All right, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm assuming if you're still here, you're here for my session, which is using technology as my teaching assistant. I forgot to introduce myself earlier, but I am Maurice Tyler. I am the vice president here for information technology and your chief information officer. I serve at the pleasure of Dr. Bro and the cabinet and all of you. I was invited by Dr. Guerin to give a session on how to leverage technology for teaching and learning. So how many of you already use technology for pedagogy? Show of hands. How many of you think you're somewhat good at it? Could use a little more? How many hate technology? Well, let me put my hand down. That wouldn't be right, right? Well, welcome everyone. I have the unfortunate circumstance of covering a half day of technology, tools, and instruments in about 50 minutes. So please bear with me. I will skim quite a bit, but I wanted to make sure that we got you all the tools and utilities you could use while you're here at BSU, teaching our wonderful students and providing them a pathway to success. So thank you so much for attending. And if you have any questions, I want this to be completely interactive. So please raise your hand, jump in, shout, scream, whatever you need to do to interject if you have a question real time. I do plan to do follow-up sessions. So if you are not able to or are unable to get some of the material that I'm going to cover with you today, we will cover it in depth later on in some sessions, and I will be providing a copy of my slide deck as well to all of you. Okay? So thank you again, once again, for attending, and welcome back for some of you, and welcome for all of you first-timers. By the way, I am a faculty member here at BSU as well. I think it's important that we meet students where they are and leverage technology in any way, shape, or form, because they come with 5, 6 devices in tow in some cases. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with the learning pyramid, but I just wanted to show it for reference. Basically, you know, what this says is that the more students are engaged, the more interactive we make our sessions, the less we lecture and the more we provide hands-on experience, the better the retention rates. Okay, so the more you engage those 5 senses, some people will say 6, the more you engage those senses, the more your material will be able to sink into the lower recesses of your student's brain and take root. So that's the goal of using all of these technological instruments and whiz-bang tools that we have available to us, is to really increase those retention rates for our students so that they can really grasp and take in the material. Okay? So I'm going to jump right in. The first tool that I love to use, and many of these tools found their roots in the K-12 space, believe it or not. But they've matured and become a lot more beneficial, not just for K-12 students, but also higher ed students. So we should be able to take advantage of these in this space as well. But Edpuzzle allows you to increase the effectiveness of your video presentation. So if you're like me and you have videos that you want your students to see, in fact, that's how many of them consume material today, is by YouTube. If they want to learn something, they'll go to YouTube, do a search. But you can also leverage these videos or your own content as well. But the question that I always ask myself, how do I know if the students even looked at the video? You know, how do I know they just didn't scrub through to the end of the video and skip over some very important content? So Edpuzzle will actually allow you to ingest a video into this platform, and at each breakpoint in the video, which you define, you can give the student a quiz, or you can display some useful information. So Edpuzzle gives you the capability of breaking that video up into bite-sized chunks, where at different pivotal moments in the video, you can give a quiz. Like, hey, what did you think about this particular module in the video? Or you can test them on the content, you know, which is great. So I'm sure all of you who are new employees or were new employees at some point, you had to do some maybe sexual harassment training or something like that. Similar in concept, where you have to go through, watch a video, and then be quizzed on the content of that video. That's what the Edpuzzle platform allows you to do. And more importantly, you can make it so that the students can't skip to the end, as some of them are known to do, and some of us probably have done as well, but we mostly won't admit it. But if you don't want your students to be able to skip to the end, you can turn on a switch that says, hey, don't allow them to do that. And not only that, it gives you very rich and detailed information on where the students are progressing in watching that video to the T. So that time spent on the video by the student is captured in real time. It's also available as a grading tool. So those quizzes that you can give interspersed throughout the video, you can also find out how your students are doing and leverage that as an assessment tool. So any questions about Edpuzzle? Yes, sir.
Can this be connected to Blackboard? So like you said that we can use it as like a grade, right? So after they take the quiz, will that automatically populate to Blackboard?
Great question. I knew it was coming. And I'll repeat the question because not everyone was able to hear. The question was, can this be leveraged through our learning management system, which we use on this campus called Blackboard? And the answer is yes, but not yet, okay? So in fact, I want to give that as a backdrop answer to many of the questions for these tools. They are not directly integrated with Blackboard, but our IT division is working on that. So eventually you will be able to, but they are freely available to use for personal use. So feel free and go out. I made sure of that. All these tools you can download and use for free, and just keep in the back of your mind that at one point, the CIO told me that we will be able to use this in Blackboard, and more importantly, that assessment part will transition into Blackboard as well. Got a follow-up?
Yes. So is this free? And, oh, well, yeah. So, in terms of making sure that we can free, will it alert us, like after all the students completed the assignment?
The question was, is there an alert function to let you know when all the students are finished with the assignment? And the answer is no. You'll have to go in to your dashboard and you can check progress from there. Okay? But good, great questions. Someone else have a question? Yes. It could be existing videos. Well, it has to be existing videos. So the content has to already be there, but you can create your own video and it'll take those in as well. And once you go into Edpuzzle, into their video management utility, they have some stock videos you can use as well. So if you don't want to create your own content, you can search through their stock videos to see if there's something there. Or you can load up, if you have a link to a YouTube video, you can put that in there as well. So any video content that's linkable on the internet, you'll be able to use. Yes?
So I was just thinking of the ease for students. Do they have to make an account before they can go through the process, or do they just type in their name and then they can watch the video?
Another great question. The question was, how do students engage with the platform? Do they have to create an account? Hopefully I'm couching that properly. And the answer is yes, they do have to create their own account, but you can initiate that process by uploading your roster into the tool, and it'll handle that process of onboarding for you if you pre-populate it with your students. Yes?
Clarify, we cannot link this into Blackboard and so that students can have access.
Correct. There is an integration with Blackboard, but we as a campus have not implemented that integration yet. So the question was, to be clear, this is not compatible right now with Blackboard, which is probably not the best word to use, integrated with Blackboard, and the answer is no, it's not today, but in the future it will be. Okay? Great questions, thank you. The next tool that I'll recommend is, how's my volume, by the way? Too loud, too soft? Okay, good. People in the back? All right, great. Poll Everywhere. Okay, now there's a bunch of polling solutions out there. There's Qualtrics, you've probably heard of SurveyMonkey, and tons of tools that you can use for polling. And I'm not really introducing this as a polling tool, although that is one of its core functions. The great thing about Poll Everywhere is that you can incorporate real-time slides into your PowerPoint presentations, or Google Slides if you wish. But Poll Everywhere has direct integration with your most favorite presentation tool. So picture this, you're giving a PowerPoint presentation much the same way that I am, and I didn't have a chance to set it up today because this isn't my computer, but you'll need to use a computer that you have access to install an app, and that app, Poll Everywhere, is integrated into your PowerPoint presentation, okay? And so what you need to envision is you're going through a slideshow much in the same way that I am, and you want to have a point of engagement with your students. So instantly, you can pop up a real-time QR code, a text number, and engage your students and check in with them to see how they're grasping your content. So if I were to incorporate it, I would say, hey, how are you feeling about this presentation so far? It sucks, it's great. I would only give you two choices. And then I would instantly in real time, based on your interactions with the poll through your mobile device, I would see that feedback in real time, and so would the rest of the students. So a great way to get a quick checkpoint assessment as to how your students are doing with the content in your slideshow. So that is the strength of Poll Everywhere, and that's what I'm recommending its use for. Not for the general polling capability, but for that real-time integration with your presentation if you teach by PowerPoint like a lot of us tend to do. Excellent software, again, they have a free tier that you can use. You will have to install an app in PowerPoint so that you can get that real-time analytics to display for your students. By the way, there's explainer videos in each of these slides so you can get more in-depth information. and kind of get a better overview than I'm capable of doing, obviously. So please check this out. Some of these I will be able to go into a little deeper, but this one I can't, unfortunately. Any questions about Poll Everywhere? Yes, sir, in the back.
Yeah, when you introduce us to each of these, can you tell us if it's integrated into Blackboard or not?
So the backdrop that I gave earlier is they are not. None of them, but they are capable of being integrated into Blackboard for the most part. Poll Everywhere is not quite there yet, but we can get the previous one, Ed Puzzle, does have a direct integration with Blackboard. Yes?
I don't know if I'm going a little bit farther ahead in your presentation, but when you put these links up here, reminding me, do we have access to a QR code generator through the university? Because a lot of the websites are like paid. So let's say we're trying to share this with our students, we want them to go look at a video or something. Do we have a QR code site or something that the university pays for so that we can have a limited QR code generator?
The question is, do we have a QR code generator that faculty can access that the university owns? And the answer is yes, but there's a qualifier. We only have a limited number of licenses. But if you have the need, please contact me directly and we'll work it out for you. I don't know who was first. Uh-huh.
I have an add-on in my computer office products. There's a free add-on, generate free QR codes and PowerPoint, Word, in Microsoft Office.
So the response, and thank you so much, is that there is an add-on for the Microsoft products that will allow you to generate QR codes as well. So we'll make sure we publish that information. Yes, in the back.
All of us have access to Adobe. Adobe has a free QR code.
Another great point. Adobe, which is one of my slides, I'll pay you later. Adobe also has a QR code generator built into it. So there's no shortage of, and I have a free one as well that I use. That's one of my favorites. Any questions, comments about Poll Everywhere? Great tool, again, not for general polling, but for incorporating real-time assessment polls inside of your PowerPoint and Google Slide presentations. Here's one that was introduced actually at the last Faculty Institute 1 year ago. Padlet, great tool. It's kind of like a Pinterest for the university. This is completely available to you as a faculty member. We purchased a site license for Padlet, so many of you can use this right away. If you go to bowiestate.padlet.org, really quickly, this is one I can hopefully show without, hopefully the demo guides are with me today. Just give me 1 second. But how many of you have used Pinterest before? Yeah. So for those of you not familiar, Pinterest is a very popular site for being able to post things that interest you that you find on your path on the web. So if you're traversing the web and you see something that you like, you can do what's called pinning it. Think of the old-fashioned bulletin boards, with the little pin. You can post stuff for either your own personal consumption or for the world to see. And it's a great way to share ideas. It's a great way to share things that interest you. But the use case here is if your students are doing a research project. So I'm sure we've all been to, where we reserve a section of one of our floors of one of our buildings to showcase our students' great research work and how they're progressing along their pathway to hopefully getting that thing commercialized. But Padlet allows you to do something similar, but it's all contained, of course, digitally. So students can post their research on the web, and the good thing is you can control the content and the access levels for different people. So if you only want your class to be able to post, you can do that. If you only want a group to be able to post and share, you can do that. Or you can post it for the entire world to see. About Trivia Maker.